Hello YouTubers, this is Frederick Lopez. You're on the Dark Knight of Steel channel, and today I'm going to be going over my top 10 favorite films of 2015. A couple of you out there have been asking me what are my favorite films or what I think was my favorite film or best film of 2015, and I decided to go at this a little bit different of my personal favorite, of what I enjoy the most. Not to consider one film's better than another film, but just my personal opinion of what my favorite films are of the year. Starting with number 10 is The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I really liked Guy Ritchie's new adaptation from the TV show. I liked Armie Hammer and Henry Cavill's chemistry with one another. It was nice seeing like the Russian and American spy kind of join forces and go after another enemy. Kind of brought that old Cold War element to it and reminded me a bit of the older Bonds. And I don't know if it's just because of the time period or the fact that Ian Fleming was involved in writing the TV show, but I really liked it. It was nice seeing Alicia Vikander. It was after Ex Machina, and it was a really great film, I thought. Very enjoyable. The only thing I have against it is just some of the action was just like kind of fast forward, but overall I liked it. It was very different, and it was a really good year in 2015 for spy films, I personally thought. And there's been a lot of names thrown out for who would be Bond when Daniel Craig eventually leaves, and I think Henry Cavill would be a good Bond someday. And it was also nice to see Hugh Grant in the movie. Another spy movie, Kingsman. I really enjoyed Matthew Vaughn's film, Kingsman Secret Service. It was nice seeing Samuel L. Jackson play a villain with like a lisp. Totally against the character I thought he was going to play. Colin Firth, Tyrone Edgerton as Iggy was really great. I thought he had a lot of charisma. It was nice seeing him as like kind of the street kid turned gentleman and the whole spy genre. And I really liked what Matthew Vaughn did and kind of creating again that old Cold War Bond vibe, but he kind of got the spy genre and basically made it edgier and rated R. And I liked that. I liked that being really violent and kind of vulgar in some parts and just like on edge. And it really added a lot more. And in the story itself, it says it's not your usual type of spy film. And plus, it was nice seeing Mark Hamill. Ex Machina, very great independent science fiction film. One of the best films of the year, and I really liked the effects, but it was more psychological than I thought it was going to be. I really liked the story, though. It was very grounded, even though it was in the future. It was very much a world we can kind of relate to, and it was just weird of him in this house with like Oscar Isaac and like talking to this machine, testing its intelligence, and the machine replying back. And there was a very good message in the film about humanity and machines, and it was a very different and most of all an original film, and that's why I really liked it. Now this film gets a lot of flack and it's in a lot of people's top 10 worst films, but I personally enjoyed Terminator Genisys. And I really didn't think I was going to like the film, and I really liked how it respected the first two. Some can say that no, it didn't, and it made it PG-13 and undid everything. Well, it's an alternate timeline, and I agree, the trailers did give too much away, but that was kind of cool having Skynet get John Connor, corrupt him, turn him bad against the humans, against humanity. So, like, what happens when, like, John Connor is with Skynet? I mean, what's going to go on? And then nothing happens the way it was supposed to happen. So it really went back to the whole theme of there's no fate but what we make for ourselves. And that's what I liked. And I like all the Terminator films. I even like T3 and Terminator Salvation. But I felt like this was like the true Terminator 3. And a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but I really do. And I'd rather have Terminator Genisys than some of the stuff in Rise of the Machines. It's better than this shit you're about to see.
Hey! Hey! Are you gonna pay for that?
Talk to the hand.
Yeah, funky monkey, right? Tell me that's not better than Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. I think it is. Nothing's going to beat T2, but I feel like people are just like wanting it to be better than Terminator 2. And you're not going to get that high up, but I feel like the things that Terminator Genesis are criticized for is what Jurassic World and Star Wars: The Force Awakens is praised for. So I feel like it's kind of underrated to a degree. And of course, there's unanswered questions, but it was the start of a trilogy, like any trilogy. But unfortunately, we're not going to see the end of it, and that sucks. But it was nice seeing Arnold be a badass as a T-800 one last time. And Emilia Clarke, too, was great as Sarah Connor. Although I wish they did something with the camera because she looked really short. And Jai Courtney. He may be no Michael Biehn, but he was a lot better in Terminator Genesis than he was in A Good Day to Die Hard. Although, if you think about it, kind of sucks he's in 2 fifth movies that like killed a franchise. Number 6 on my list is Spectre. Now, this film really divided a lot of viewers, and in a way, I kind of liked it better than Skyfall. Skyfall is a little bit more toned, but like Spectre's more of a culmination of the Daniel Craig films, and I feel like you have to judge it based on that. Because by itself, it can seem like a little bit empty-handed, but it's more like Dark Knight Rises and the Dark Knight trilogy, so it like ties up everything. If anything, the film suffers from its being rushed, and then the middle being a little bit slow. But I liked Christoph Waltz, especially in this scene right here.
You must know by now that the 00 program is officially dead. Which leads me to speculate exactly why you came. So, James, why did you come?
I came here to kill you.
And I thought you came here to die.
Well, it's all a matter of perspective.
And I thought it was a good film, and then Writings on the Wall by Sam Smith really surprised me. When I first heard it, I thought it was the most horrendous, shitty 007 theme. But then when I heard it with like the orchestra and instrumentals and the intro, like I kind of warmed up to it. And it was nice seeing Daniel Craig back to form. And really, I don't see why people say it's the worst Bond film. There's been a lot of stinkers in the Bond franchise for the past 50 years. I mean, just look at Moonraker or The World's Not Enough and Die Another Day compared to this. And even World's Not Enough and Die Another Day have their moments. But this is not that bad of a Bond film, I feel. Not at all. And I feel like you kind of have to watch the older Sean Connery ones to really kind of appreciate this new one. It kind of brought back that early 60s vibe. It was nice of them having the rights to use Spectre again instead of the knockoff group Quantum. And they tied that in there very well. And really, I kind of wanted to see Spectre ever since seeing the end of Casino Royale, so it was nice to finally see that. But if anything, the third act was a bit rushed as well, and I think that's one thing both Sam Mendes' 007 suffer from in Skyfall and Spectre is a rushed third act. Okay, number 5 on my list is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Now, I wanted to like this film more than I did. I didn't hate the film at all, but it's left me feeling kind of empty. And it just didn't feel the same. And it's okay if you like that as a best film. Love it to death. But me personally, I don't think it's the greatest film ever, and it surely is not the greatest Star Wars film. But it's really good. I like Rey, I like Finn. I also love Kylo Ren. He's a really awesome bad guy. And the only thing that I don't like is some of the plot points taken from A New Hope. You could say it's a homage, but when you really look at it, it's like Superman Returns paying homage to the Christopher Reeve original film. But then you stop to analyze, and then you realize that you've actually seen the story in a much better film. And that's how I feel about Force Awakens. It's enjoyable to watch like Superman Returns, but ultimately I'd rather watch that plot in a much better film called Star Wars from 1977. Plus, the only thing I think that deters me from it, besides it being really fast in the editing and being rushed, is that you have a chance to get all 3 original trilogy characters back. Luke, Leia, Han. Han Solo's in it, but Princess Leia is now just a General Leia, no Jedi like the expanded universe, and then Luke's in it for the last 20 seconds without dialogue. And then they don't really do anything, so like it kind of undermines everything in the original trilogy. And I like the film, but for as much flack the prequels get, The prequels at least did something original and didn't really affect the other ones because it was like isolated. It was before the other films. I just feel a little bit underwhelmed and just really wanted more of a film. After 30 years, I wanted all of them back with the new characters. You just could have done more. The original characters are almost non-existent. Even with the Ben Solo storyline and Kylo Ren, it's just like, why bring the original characters back if we weren't going to use them fully? I'd rather have just watched an original story with Rey, Finn, and then just discovering the Jedi. I really would have. Also, on that Han Solo scene, I had a feeling it was coming. Harrison Ford wanted Han Solo to be killed off. It was poetic. It fit. But ultimately, I think they could have done it in a better way. And second of all, it's just bullshit that Han Solo died. Number 4 on my list is Furious 7. Now, this was a film I enjoyed much better than I thought it would. And yes, it's dumb. Yes, it's silly. Yes, there's ludicrous stuff in it. And Ludacris is in it. But it's a fun action film and really brings back the joy and just kind of fun element of an action film I've seen since like the 90s. Although it's not as good as Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6, I still really enjoyed the film. And also everything that happened with Paul Walker, I feel like they really handled the film in a great way with his brothers and having CGI scenes to basically complete the film. And it's probably the best use I've seen of a posthumous role since Brendan Lee in The Crow and Heath Ledger in The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. But yeah, I mean, you have The Rock in there. The fight scenes are great. Jason Statham is a villain. I wish he could have been in there more. Shows up Brandon Lee. But the action scenes and everything are really done well. And then the soundtrack was good. I like the use of Tempest by the Deftones from Kono no Yukan in the ending scene. And then Michelle Rodriguez asking The Rock, like, where's the cavalry? And he's like, woman, I am the cavalry. That was just amazing with the minigun. And then the whole fight they had. 2 ludicrous parts in it, though, that were crazy was the car building jump and then Vin Diesel literally getting his foot and stomping an entire building. The stomping the building was the only part where I was like, okay, this has gone too far and it's kind of bullshit. But it's fun. But overall, who can forget the ending was See You Again. That is not only one of the best, if not the best ending of 2015 in film, but one of the best film endings I have ever seen in my life. So emotional, both for the characters and then everything that happened with Paul Walker. And, I mean, that scene just gets to you. And it's sad because Michelle Rodriguez asks, are you going to say goodbye? And then Vin Diesel's like, it's never goodbye. That doesn't get to you. What got to me, it was just like building up, it really sent me over the edge, was when Vin Diesel was just like reflecting on the stop sign. Paul Walker's car comes up and you see him. Even though it's not him, they CGI'd him and it's just like, hey, you didn't think I would let you leave without saying goodbye. I mean, that just tore my heart up. And, yeah. It's an emotional ending. And not only does it fit for a send-off of Paul Walker's character, but it fits the relationship of Dominic Toretto and Brian O'Connor from the beginning of the Fast and Furious on to Furious 7. And it's really the culmination of that. And I'm kind of want to see what happens next with them parting ways. Genius shot off to the sunset, but really, I think they should just end it in Furious 7. They're not going to. Of course, they're going to make more, but that just feels like the ultimate ending, and was very powerful. Okay, now that we got Furious 7 out of the way, let's go to another film with cars. Number 3 is Mad Max Fury Road. Now, this was my favorite film of the year for a little bit before the summer hit along, and it's a great film. I've been a Mad Max fan ever since I was a kid, with getting the VHSs with Mel Gibson. And it even inspired me to be a filmmaker, but like, this film was even better than I thought it was going to be. And it was just a great action movie. It was nice seeing practical effects like Star Wars. And some people say it doesn't have a story, but it really does have a story. It's just very, very simple. Tom Hardy did a good job, but Charlize Theron as Furiosa just stole the show, and that's one thing I have to say. Charlize Theron as Furiosa, Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor, Daisy Ridley as Rey, and Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust in Mission Impossible. They were probably the best female heroines in 2015. They were badasses who kicked ass and took names, and they basically made the movies they were in. And I digress. But it was nice seeing George Miller come back. It's like he perfected the Mad Max world in the 80s. And then he just decided, like, I could do the same thing, or I could just take it to the next level. And that's what he did. And it was an amazing film. I really enjoyed it. It was nice witnessing Mad Max and Furiosa fight off Immortan Joe's men and basically going to the roads to Valhalla, shiny and chrome. It was nice witnessing that. Okay, on my number 2 spot, one of the best films of the year, and a film that actually got me more pumped up than Star Wars did, was Creed. Oh my god. Ryan Coogler did an amazing job, and I was worried about this film. I didn't think it was going to be that great of a film, to be honest. When I first heard about it, I was like, oh no, this is stupid. And it ended on such a high note with Rocky Balboa. This is stupid. Why are they doing this? And then I heard that Sylvester Stallone was only going to act, not write or direct, but you know what? I was proven wrong. This not only is good as Creed 1, it could be a great Rocky 7 in a way. It's kind of like a spin-off. And I really, really loved it. It felt so visceral and real. And it was nice seeing Rocky go through another type of fight. And also just not wanting to live until he meets Creed. And they kind of help each other in life. And the father-son relationship. And in a way, it's almost like repayment for not throwing the towel to save Apollo Creed's life. So as like retribution, he's going to train his son to carry on the legacy. Their fighting legacy. And that's just amazing to me. That film made you happy, sad, cry, feel joyful, feel pumped up. Oh my god, the music and the training scenes just made you want to go outside the theater after eating a bucket of popcorn and just jogging for 8 miles. It was awesome. And anyway, it was great, and I liked the single take fighting shots and mixing that with the HBO pay-per-view type of fighting style from Rocky Balboa and the HBO Boxing After Dark, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, he's up for an Oscar nomination. Sylvester Stallone is, and other people may get it, but you know what? Give the man a damn Oscar. He deserves it, and it's just amazing. Rocky is an American tradition. On my number 1, I have 2 of my favorite films of the year. I would say the last one I mentioned might be what I consider the best film of the year, but the other one is really my favorite. So for number 1, B, is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Oh my gosh, it was such a terrific film. Action-packed, and a lot of people like Ghost Protocol, but I mean, I like all the Mission Impossibles, but Ghost Protocol was a little bit too comedic and felt like a cartoon to me, and I kind of like the darker side of Mission Impossible, like 1 and 3. So 5 kind of followed the odd rule, made it just a tiny bit darker, but still had that fun element to it. And I can't decide if it's the best Mission Impossible film in my opinion or not. I still kind of rank that to the first movie, but it's definitely better than 3 now, and it's up there with the original Brian De Palma Mission Impossible for me. Rebecca Ferguson was great. Sean Harris, it was nice seeing an actual villain like challenge Ethan Hunt. The Syndicate stuff is cool. I like how they're continuing from previous films now, setting up a certain continuity. And Tom Cruise, wow. That divorce must have helped because he actually seemed like he was younger with all the stunts and stuff he did. I mean, he has like a death wish. First the plane stunt and then the underwater for 6 minutes. That guy has some balls and is a major trooper in his film. That's dedication for you. And he always delivers. I don't think I've ever seen a Tom Cruise movie where I'm like, that wasted my time and money. He, even if it's his weakest films, and like you still get something out of it. And that's one great thing about him being a producer actor on the series. I like how they brought the television elements into it. And the motorcycle scene was really good. I like the advancements with digital technology now. Overall, it was probably one of my favorite spy films. Again, it was a great year for spy films, but I think I enjoyed it better than James Bond. Like, they're really good. It has like the certain fun element and just espionage and just the right amount of everything like the older Bonds used to have. Christopher McQuarrie did a great job directing and writing, and I'm glad he's coming back for the next one. Even though I think it's cool that each director has their vision, it's cool that he's coming back to do the next one. Now, for number 1A, was my favorite film of 2015, Straight Outta Compton. That was such an amazing film. Not only as a biopic, true story, but just as a film itself, dealing with certain themes that still go on today with police brutality, the music industry, just accomplish one's dreams. It's just like everything with NWA and their rise and so-called fall, and then just like kind of everything afterwards with Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Eazy-E. It was just great, and it was just a really great film. The music was fantastic. O'Shea, Ice Cube's son playing him, it was just crazy. The beginning looked like him, but when he was like reading the script for Friday and he had the short hair, that just freaked me out. I was just like, that's Ice Cube. And then the actor played Dr. Dre, and Eazy-E did a great job. Paul Giamatti's almost getting typecast as like a scrupulous music producer guy, manager, like after Rock of Ages. But I think it's an ultimate travesty that they didn't consider this for Best Picture or any other Oscars because, I mean, the politics of it, of course, music, themes, police brutality, and Straight Outta Compton doesn't get shit except for like Best Original Screenwriter. That's just a travesty in my opinion, and it's one of the best films. And if you don't like rap music or anything, it's not about that. It's about what these people had to go through, and just like their music reflecting the world they live in, and just kind of like making their situation better. I really love that. It was a really compelling film, and it's even more compelling that it really happened. It's a true story. But overall, I really like Straight Outta Compton. Just an excellent film all around, and I feel like it's very, very, very underrated compared to some of the other stuff. Well, anyways, that's just my quick thoughts on what I consider my favorite films. Sorry if I came off kind of like mumbling really fast or kind of pretentious, but I was kind of hyper, need to make a video, and I've been getting comments about what are my favorite films. So I just wanted to send this out, even though it's really, really late. But on Sicario, great score, Benicio del Toro's performance, the cinematography is amazing, as well as The Revenant. Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu and Leo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy, great job in that movie, all real natural lighting. And I want to see what the Oscars is. I think it's Leo's year. But it's just a quick, different video. But if you have any questions, send them down below. If you want me to do any like top 10 videos, send them down below. And then also check out my second channel, the Frederick Lopez channel. I don't have that much content, but I'm going to get some more content. And here's some reviews for Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, and Mission Impossible 2. Coming up on a retro review series for action films called Action Reaction. Right now I have some reviews for horror films under my program, The Final Cut, with Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, and Fright Night. Action Reaction has 2 episodes of RoboCop and the Terminator review. And then I have the first episode of Binge Review, in which I review Jessica Jones after binge watching it. So, yeah. It's a video that's a little bit different. Hope you have a great day, enjoy the Oscars, and go see some of these movies.